So what's the current situation in relation to Palestinian statehood? Well, President Mahmoud Abbas of the Palestinian Authority and of the PLO has announced in mid-October that he intends to seek a resolution in the United Nations Security Council which will require Israel to withdraw from the occupied territories. So it's still a draft resolution which hasn't been formally presented yet. But the draft that we have seen, we understand, demands that the full withdrawal of Israel, the occupying power, as it's called, from all of the Palestinian territory occupied since 1967, including East Jerusalem, as rapidly as possible and to be fully completed within a specified time frame, perhaps even as early as November 2016. As well as the achievement of the independence and sovereignty of the State of Palestine and the right to determination of the Palestinian people. So this resolution is basically pushing forward and requiring implementation of Palestinian statehood and calling for the United Nations to implement that statehood. Now, already over 130 nations since 1988 have officially recognised Palestine as a state. So what's new? Well, what's new is that this is for the first time the Security Council will be called upon to actually enforce the borders of this Palestinian state and the sovereignty of the Palestinian people over that state. Now, European nations so far have refused to recognise Palestine as a state. We've seen some movement from that in recent weeks. For example, Sweden and the proclamation of the UK Parliament speaking out very much in favour of Palestinian statehood. Nevertheless, there's been a number of states which refuse to recognise Palestine without negotiations. For example, the Nordic Council. And of course, Australia has been very strong in saying that there will be no Palestinian recognition without negotiations. Now, the Palestinians have also made a bid for UN membership. That's official membership of the UN, which they're not yet. They are an unofficial non-member of the UN. And this is still on the table of the UN Security Council. In effect, what they're doing now is a kind of backdoor way of achieving UN recognition, because it now, as I say, puts the obligation firmly on the Security Council to enforce and recognise statehood and UN membership. We don't know when this is going to happen, maybe already by the end of this year. It depends very much on the constitution of the Security Council, which will change. Some of the states will go off at the end of 2014, some new ones will come on. The primary mover of this is Jordan, which has been a non-permanent member of the Security Council since the beginning of 2014, remains there until 2015. And Australia is on the Council as a non-permanent member until the end of this year. So if this comes up this year, Australia has the potential to take a lead here in terms of its reaction to the Palestinian proposal. New Zealand comes on in 2015, so they play an important role if this is postponed until early 2015.